I tell you, I don't know how you guys are able to sit down and actually give your spiel. I'm just too excited, perhaps not as seasoned an executive as these gentlemen to contain my enthusiasm. So let me move around a little bit. For those of you who have the pleasure of meeting other Coleman employees, they'll tell you it's difficult to catch me sitting still anyway. So that said, you get what you get. First of all, I can't tell you how great it is to be here with so many friends, supporters, and indeed advocates for the great outdoors. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to you, but have to tell you, you've made a mistake. Because I'm between you, dinner, and that indoor bar club that Derrick mentioned earlier. That doesn't mean I'm going to go any faster. It's too important. I'm also very proud, and I can't express how proud I am to represent a 110-year-old Coleman Company, birthday on January 8th, that has become synonymous with so many images, memories, family connection, community connections with the outdoors. It's a very, very special honor to be in charge of such a company, although I'm not sure with so many consumers around the world now, literally hundreds of millions of lanterns, tents, coolers sold each year, still selling enough tents to house everyone in the city of LA, which I think about as I come to California. You guys shake it up out here every now and then. So that didn't elude me as it came out. But it's just amazing. I mean, our products are literally sold today in 160 countries around the world. And one of the perks of the job, Mickey and I were talking about, geez, it's hard to call it a job when some of the things that you do are so much fun and so exciting, is really get to travel the world and see how people experience the outdoors globally. I gotta tell you, folks are having a lot of fun in a lot of places. They don't have the benefit of the stewardship in the natural places that we have, or anywhere near the infrastructure to support that activity that we have today. That said, I'm not here to talk about Derrick. There's a whole lot of people a lot smarter than I am who can talk to you about land management and how to manage concessions and all those kinds of things. I'm just going to do marketing, because I am that 90-day contract corporate guy that's got to deliver results. And I want to give you some insight as to how we think about doing that within the Coleman Company and share with you how we think about the outdoors and how we think about engaging consumers. The reality is when I looked at the Partners Outdoor agenda, I was amused, surprised, frankly, at how similar so many of the discussion topics you were having, clearly with some more illustrious folks that might be sitting around my office table, but we're talking about the exact same subjects. How to get people outside, how to engage minorities, what are we going to do about the dichotomy of uses that we see on various lands. It's just amazing to me how similar the discussion topics are. And that leads me to share with you what I'm going to talk about. And what I'm going to talk about is a little embarrassing for a 100-year-old company that is synonymous with the outdoors. And it's that thing that we discovered a couple of years ago that's missing from the business mix at Coleman. See, I haven't told anyone yet. It was insight. It was insight. Oh, we know all about technology. We know how to use various fabrics to achieve various ends, whether that's on a tent, clothing, sleeping bag. We know all about lighting, fuel, battery, you name it. Technology is required to spend the evening outside, week, month. Oh, we can do that. But what we didn't understand, when we hear all the benefits about being outside, physical, emotional, mental, enjoying your family and friends, the great park systems we have, the other natural places that we have outside, frankly, our own backyards. Why aren't kids enjoying that? We don't get it. One of the things we found, we too are a long-storied institution. It's not uncommon in my building to find folks who've worked 30 and 40 years with the Coleman Company. How could we possibly not understand? It seems for a whole host of reasons, we started looking at our technology and our capability and thinking about going outside from our perspective. Not necessarily from the perspective of those customers we'd like to attract to the outdoors, but from our perspective, those of us who know, those of us who are passionate about it. So we were lacking insight. Easy to say, pick it up in any marketing or research textbook, it'll describe it. We've defined it because I'm simple. It's not anything elegant or necessarily like that. It's just because I'm simple. inside of the Coleman Company, we define insight as that piece of truth that's missing. Don't have any idea it's missing, but when you hear it, even the very first time, you automatically know it's true. Okay? You automatically know it's true. Let me give you an example from a related but not so much outdoor industry. Those of you who follow the company, hope a few of you own some stock, because I might be trying to sell a few shares. You can get a few more if you'd like. You know, for those of you who follow the company, those of you who don't, the Coleman Company acquired, as part of Jard's acquisition of K2, we acquired the Stearns business. Think life jackets or personal flotation devices for purists, but think life jackets. And we did the sundry things that companies do when they buy other companies. You know, we worked to cut our expenses and make sure we weren't duplicating costs and just to drive efficiency. We also, because we are in the corporate / public sector, very much focused on growth. Your stock doesn't do anything if you just stay the same. You actually have to grow it in order to drive the stock up. So when we began looking at that, we found very accomplished engineers, very accomplished product managers, and we knew everything there was to know about flotation devices, life jackets. In fact, we have a whole bevy of engineers and product managers working on making them float better. And we're doing a fine job of that. We've got some great new stuff coming out. And then we decided, geez, but when we look at this historical trend of sales, it's actually going down. People are still going outdoors. People are still swimming, boating, fishing, working on the water. What's wrong with our sales? Well, we looked at a piece of data, full stop, looked at another piece of data that said, hey, in America, about 4,000 people a year drown, unfortunately. Well over 90% of them, depending on the year you look, were not wearing life jackets. You see, the problem we've been working on making them float better wasn't the problem that was actually going to prevent the 4,000 deaths a year in this country. You actually had to figure out a way to get people to wear this life-saving device. So, for Kevin, we started trying to figure out why. And the research is really simple. I'll take you through this case study in more detail another time, but the salient points, and you know this to be true, is they're uncomfortable. They're hot. They're not cool. I'm a very outdoor water sports guy, so I can't deal with that bulk. We start solving those kinds of problems in our new products, and sales are beginning to take off. But the insight, pure and simple, was no consumer was worried about them floating better. We were solving the wrong problem. I'm creating a new one. Move on this side. Doesn't like me so much over there. So that's what I mean by insight, is really understanding that simple truth that's preventing folks from doing the thing that we all know would be hugely beneficial. And it's not simply talking them into doing that thing. I wish it were that easy. It's really understanding where they are and giving them something that they actually want. So what do we do about our problem, our dirty little secret? Not having sufficient consumer insights. Last year, we fielded nearly 100 research projects and literally talked to tens of thousands of consumers about their experiences, attitudes, behaviors outdoors, why they don't go, why they do go, you name it, we talked about just about everything. Frankly, it's a lot less expensive than I thought it was because the internet and the research tools provided there make it a lot easier to interact and a lot easier to turn questions around in truly hours. Sometimes you begin to get a direction within hours of asking a question. And certainly in 48 to 72 hours, you can have as much detailed knowledge, or not as there is, but a whole lot more than you had when you started asking the question.